They paid him $200,000 a year to keep his mouth shut and never ask what lived in the dark. Not to fight, not to think, not to look too closely at the things he carried inside those containers. Just to drive in, drop the cargo, and get out before the 12 hours were up. For 8 months, Edgar Black did exactly that. Showed up, did the job, cashed the checks, told himself the money was enough reason not to ask questions. But this year, nobody answered the bells. The green light never came on. And something inside 25 square miles of fenced-off Wyoming wilderness had already finished eating everyone who used to live there. My name is your host, and this is DreadRelic. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you are watching from. I read every single one, and if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button before this story is over. Trust me, you will want someone to call when the lights go out tonight. Now, let's go in. My name is Edgar Black, and the worst decision I ever made started with a yellow envelope. 8 months before the night I watched a man disappear between dimensions, I was walking to my truck at the Port of Los Angeles, end of a long shift, head down, tired down to the bone, when I noticed the shape leaning against my tailgate. A mountain of a man, white hair wild as something feral, a beard that swallowed the lower half of his face like it was consuming him, a cigar burning at the corner of his mouth, the ember glowing orange in the evening dark. He raised one hand, a hand built like a weapon, and called across the lot without a trace of hesitation. "Oi, you Edgar Black?" I stopped walking. "Who's asking?" He laughed, and the sound of it rolled through the empty lot like something that did not belong there. Too loud, too easy. The laugh of a man who has seen things that should have broken him and somehow came out the other side still standing. His name was Marcus Jasper. He said a contact at the port told him I was the best forklift operator on the dock. Prior military, fast, precise. He pushed a folded yellow envelope into my hands, hit me across the shoulder hard enough to nearly send me into the tarmac, and walked away like we were already done. "Take a look at that packet," he said without turning around. "Tells you as much as we can share for now. I know your finances aren't in great shape, son. Got creditors after you from what I understand. My number's on the last page. Call me if you're interested." And I'm flying out tomorrow. That night I sat at my kitchen table and read every word. The job description was ordinary enough at first. Loading, unloading, manifests, container checks. Standard warehouse work dressed up in careful language. But the further I read, the colder the room felt. The warehouse sat on a 25 square mile compound in an undisclosed state. Armed perimeter patrols required. Firearms mandatory at all times. Military background strongly preferred. 1 delivery per year. The non-disclosure agreement at the back ran longer than most legal contracts I had ever seen, and the penalty for any breach was not a fine. It was federal prison. I almost put it down, almost walked away from that kitchen table and never looked back. Then I found the sticky note pressed to the very last page, written in heavy, unhurried block letters like the hand of someone who had never once been nervous in their life. "Call if you're interested, kid. $200,000 per year." The next morning, I was on a private jet heading north. Jasper sat across the aisle from me, working quietly through a stack of papers. The plane hummed. Clouds moved below us like things trying not to be seen. I waited until I could not stand the silence any longer. "Sir, what exactly is this job?" The description was vague, and I cannot understand why a private company would have an NDA that carries federal prison time. He set the clipboard down. That grin again. Slow, wide, completely unbothered. The grin of a man who has told this story before and watched it land the same way every time. "You want the real answer," he said, "or the believable one?" "The real one." While he leaned back in his seat. "Here goes nothing. Shift Logistics operates a protected compound in Wyoming spend 11 months of the year receiving shipments of everything you can imagine. Food, clothing, medication, vehicles, fuel, light weaponry, technical equipment. Then, once a year, during a 12-hour window, an entire town materializes inside the perimeter. We drive in, we deliver the supplies, we pick up whatever they are sending back to us, and we leave before the window closes. I stared at him. A town, I said, materializes. That is correct. Out of nowhere. Out of another dimension, to be precise, he said. And the way he said it, matter of fact, unbothered, the same tone a man uses to describe a delayed shipment, made it somehow worse. Once a year for 12 hours, a town from an alternate reality crosses over into ours. Once after 12 hours, it goes back, with or without anyone still inside it. He picked the clipboard back up. I sat with that for a long time. Where does it go? I finally asked. I don't ask questions like that, he said, and did not look up. They pay us. We deliver. It's a good gig. I try not to spoil it with curiosity. 11 months passed in a rhythm that felt almost normal if you did not think about it too hard. Deliveries came in. We logged them. We packed the containers. We ran the equipment checks. We started again. I got to know the crew, 20 or 30 men and women, all carrying the same secret, all choosing the same silence, all living on the compound together, like a family that had agreed without saying so, never to discuss the thing that had brought them there. Jasper held us together. Well, he worked us hard during the day and fed us well at night, standing at the grill in the compound yard most evenings with a beer in one hand and a spatula in the other, running card games in the mess hall, screening films in the small theater on site. He drove people to the clinic himself when they were sick. He remembered the names of everyone's families back home. He was the kind of man who, when the world ended, you would want standing next to you. I did not know then how relevant that thought would become. Then winter settled over Wyoming, heavy and white and absolute, and it was time. I sat in the cab of my truck with the heater running and the engine ticking quietly in the dark, staring out at a snowfield that had never once, in all of human history, held a town. Floodlights from the warehouse behind me turned the snow a pale, a sickly gold. In the passenger seat beside me sat a young woman I had never seen before that morning. Military fatigues, a handgun on her belt, a duffel bag at her feet. Eyes closed, head tilted back, pretending to sleep. I had tried to talk to her twice. She had told me, very quietly and very politely, that she had explicit instructions not to share any information with contractors. I tried a third time. She closed her eyes and did not open them again. Then the radio exploded to life. High-pitched sirens tore through the silence of the cab, and the woman beside me snapped upright like something had grabbed her by the collar. Eyes straight ahead, jaw set, every trace of sleep gone from her face in an instant. "Good morning, ladies and gents." Jasper's voice, deep, steady, warm in the way a fire in a sealed room is warm. "This is Marcus Jasper. Your final countdown has now reached 30 seconds. Shipment 51 will commence on my mark. If this is your first delivery, move quickly. We have a 12-hour window. Full delivery by the 2-hour mark. Pickup and retrieval complete by hour 4. That leaves 8 hours of buffer if anything goes sideways." A pause that lasted exactly 1 second longer than it should have. No one wants an unexpected ride to the other side. The other side. What did that mean? Before I could hold the thought long enough to examine it, yellow caution lights exploded from the building behind us, and the world changed. My ears filled with a high, thin whine that built without ceiling. The fillings in my back teeth began to rattle against each other like something was trying to pull them loose. The air pressure collapsed around me like the inside of a vacuum, and every breath I took felt like trying to breathe through a wet cloth. The woman beside me said nothing. She reached across the cab in the dark and found my hand. I held on. Down at the bottom of the snowfield, a ring of pale light appeared in the darkness. Small at first, no larger than a coin held at arm's length. Then it pulsed, and with each pulse it grew. Wider, taller, brighter, more violent, until it was not a ring of light anymore, but a wall of it, a column of it, a catastrophe of blinding white that swallowed the entire field and turned the inside of the truck cab into something that felt like the inside of a dying star. I raised my hand to cover my face. The light pushed between my fingers like it had weight. I braced for the shockwave, for the explosion, for the sound. Nothing. Total silence. The light simply stopped. I lowered my hand. At the bottom of the hill, where nothing had been standing 30 seconds ago, sat a town. A full, complete, illuminated town, on a raised platform 40 feet off the ground, with warehouse buildings and water towers and rows of houses and taller structures at the far end that caught the stadium lights and threw them back against the dark Wyoming sky. "It's go time," Jasper said over the radio, and God help me, I drove toward it. We formed up at the base of the entry ramp, engines running, waiting for the green light. It did not come. 5 minutes. 10. The red light above the ramp entrance burned like an open wound. The green light beneath it stayed dark. Truck 27. Jasper's voice, and something in it had shifted. Something thin and sharp replacing the warmth like a blade slid beneath skin. Samantha Michaels. "This is a truck-to-truck transmission. The rest of the fleet is cut from this loop. Do you copy?" The woman beside me reached for the mic, and I watched her hand shake before she could steady it. "I copy. Ma'am, my bells are going unanswered. Standard 5-bell series. No response on any frequency. I am asking your permission to enact Code Blue. We have never, in the entire history of this operation, failed to receive contact. Never." The silence that followed lasted 3 full seconds before Samantha pressed the transmit button. "Permission granted, Mr. Jasper. Pick your best people. I will accompany you for point inspection. We do not know what we will find in there." What we found was this. We found a town that had been prepared to receive us perfectly. Warehouses staged, containers sealed, equipment functional, every dock plate lowered. Every manifest in order, and not a single living person anywhere inside it, not one. The first row of residential houses was intact, lived in, tidy, personal effects on the shelves, photographs on the walls. The small, quiet evidence of lives interrupted mid-sentence. We turned the corner into the second row. Every door had been destroyed, not forced open. Destroyed, splintered from their frames and scattered across the living room floors in white shards, and in every frame, running deep into the wood on either side, the same marks. Long, parallel, deliberate grooves, spaced like the fingers of a hand the size of a kitchen table. The smell hit us 3 houses in. Rot, old rot. The kind that gets into your sinuses and lives there, sweet and thick and final. The smell of something that stopped being a person a long time ago and has been slowly becoming something else ever since. Every house we entered was the same. Grooves in the walls, grooves in the floors, dried blood arcing up the walls in patterns that told a story we did not want to read. Desiccated remains folded against baseboards and tangled in the legs of overturned furniture. No sign of what had done it. No sign of any living thing anywhere. We were clearing our 7th house when the shooting started. automatic fire from across the street. Multiple carbines cycling fast. The kind of shooting that means you are not aiming, because you do not have time to aim, because whatever you are shooting at is already too close. Then screaming. Then the radio. Hostiles detected. Team 2. Hostiles detected. Everett and Bernstein are down. Each subject is in Road 2. Fire at will. Hostile is. The voice ended. Not paused. Ended. What replaced it was not silence. It was a shriek. Not a human sound. Not an animal sound. Something between and beneath both of those things, a sound that the human ear was not built to hear and the human brain was not built to process, and beneath the shriek, wet sounds. The sounds of something feeding. Then static. I got my team to the windows. We overturned the couch and the coffee table and wedged behind them, and I eased the window up and propped my barrel on the sill and swept the barrel left to right across the street. Empty. Except for one figure in the doorway of the house directly opposite, still in Kevlar. Still holding the carbine across its chest. Still alive because I could see the head turn toward me, slow and dull, as in one hand lift from the floor and reach out. Then something white and curved reached around the door frame from inside the house. A claw, the size of a fire hook. It drove through the body armor like it was tissue paper, punched into the chest, and both arms of the figure convulsed, hands snapping open, the carbine clattering to the ground, blood erupting up and filling the mouth so that the scream came out wet, and then came out not at all. The claw retracted. Smooth, unhurried, like something that had done this 10,000 times, and dragged the body backward into the dark of the house. The roar that followed shook the glass in the window frame I was leaning against. Anyone got eyes on the hostile? Brief visual. 5th house, Road 2, all teams. The wall of the 5th house exploded outward, not the door, the wall. As the entire front face of the structure buckled and erupted into the street in a cloud of plaster dust and shattered timber, and out of the wreckage something rolled. White, spherical, the size of a grown man folded into himself, but covered entirely in long curved spines that moved, that breathed, flexing and rippling in slow, continuous waves like the surface of black water on a windless night. It came to a stop in the center of the road. A trail of those deep parallel grooves stretched behind it through the dust. The clicking started almost immediately, layered and wet and constant, like the sound of 1,000 small bones being worked between teeth. Team 1 poured from a doorway further down the street and opened fire. Orange blood fell in heavy drops. The creature shrieked, and then every single spine went rigid at once, as standing perfectly vertical and 4 lines appeared across the surface of the sphere, north, south, east, west, an X drawn by something that understood geometry, and the sections between the lines began to fold backward, slowly, like a flower opening in time-lapse. 6 legs unfolded from the center, long, bladed, jointed wrong, too many angles, bending in directions legs are not supposed to bend, and in the very center of it, where a body should have been, there was a mouth, a perfect circle of teeth, row inside row, receding back into something that had no visible end, and hanging from the center of the mouth, dragging along the road, a gray tongue, long, wet, patient. The creature moved. It crossed the street in less than a second, and its 2 front legs went through the chests of the men at the front of the firing line the way a nail gun goes through drywall, without effort, without pause, without any acknowledgement that the bodies on the end of those legs had mass or momentum or anything worth registering. It tossed them aside. One woman kept shooting. The tongue shot out and coiled around her weapon and began to retract. It dragged her across the concrete on her heels, screaming, still firing, still pulling the trigger even as the muzzle entered the mouth, even as her wrists crossed the line of teeth, even as the rows closed and her screaming stopped and only her legs remained on the road, still twitching. The last survivors of Team 1 ran for a house at the end of the row. The creature folded its legs back in. The flower closed. The sphere formed. And it rolled through the wall of the house after them, like that wall had never existed at all. I pressed transmit. Jasper, Michaels, we have made contact with the hostile. Unknown predatory species. Teams 1 and 2 are both dead. Both. The engagement has not wounded it in any meaningful way. I need orders right now. Static. Broken. Then Samantha's voice, thin and fractured. All remaining. Central control. Everyone. All remaining troops to central control. It took us over 7 hours to travel 1.5 miles. 7 hours. 1.5 miles. The creature tracked us the entire way. It was never more than half a block behind us. We could hear it always, even when we could not see it. That layered clicking carried through the silence between buildings with a clarity that made it impossible to pretend it was not there. That made it impossible to pretend we were not being hunted. That made it impossible to pretend we were going to be okay. We moved in increments measured in feet. We hid behind overturned furniture and inside collapsed storefronts and pressed flat against the floors of gutted houses with our faces turned toward the windows, watching the pale sphere roll slow and deliberate through the street outside, pausing, rotating, clicking, then moving on. When it moved far enough away, we moved. 50 feet, sometimes 100. Then we stopped and pressed ourselves into whatever cover we could find and waited for the clicking to fade before we moved again. Every 100 feet we earned, we paid for with another hour of stillness and the sound of our own hearts beating too fast in our ears. We found what was left of Team 4 on the way. We turned each body over and checked each face. Jasper and Michaels were not among the dead. Central Control was a circular concrete building at the absolute center of Mirage Station, rising above every surrounding structure except the water towers, its windows and doors sealed behind plates of reinforced steel, its walls thick enough that the creature's gouges, and there were gouges running all the way around the perimeter deep enough to expose the rebar beneath, had not broken through. The rebar was twisted and bent and gnawed-looking, but it held. We traced the full perimeter, looking for any way inside. There was none. We took shelter in a one-story brick building across the street and tried the radio. Silence. Somewhere close. Too close. Something heavy struck the inside of a building, and the crash of it rolled through the dark streets like a wave. It was still looking for us. It had all the time in the world. "We need to leave," said Perkins. "Jasper and Michaels are gone. We have to accept that and go." The others agreed. All of them. Quiet and hollow-eyed and afraid in the way that people are afraid when the fear has been going on long enough to stop feeling like fear and start feeling like a new kind of normal. "We do not know they are dead," I said. "And if that thing follows us back to the warehouse..." A screech of metal from across the street cut through the air like a blade. Heavy hydraulics, coming from the direction of Central Control. We looked over the window ledge. The reinforced door on the far side of the building was rising from the ground. And Marcus Jasper was standing inside the opening, one hand on the door mechanism, looking across the street at us like he had been waiting patiently and was mildly irritated it had taken this long. "Get the hell in here," he said. We ran across the open street and through the door, and Jasper hit the controls and the reinforced steel descended behind us. The lobby was full of the dead, dozens of them, mummified where they had fallen, on the floor, against the walls, curled in corners, slumped across each other, in the way that people slump when they stop having the strength to choose a position, and gravity makes the choice for them. Coated in gray dust, faces collapsed inward, hands still reaching toward nothing in the dry, still air. The smell was different from the smell in the houses outside. Older, drier, more final. This was what the end of hope smelled like when no one was there to open a window. I breathed through my teeth and did not look at the faces. Most of the population that was not killed by the Alpha died of starvation in here, Jasper said, and his voice was quiet in the way a man's voice goes quiet when he is choosing not to feel something, until later. It could not get through the walls, but they could not get out for supplies. So they stayed, and eventually they stopped staying. "The Alpha?" said Perkins. Samantha stepped in from the back corridor. "That is what the research logs call it," she said. "The Alpha, the first one through the door." She told us what she and Jasper had found in those logs. For the first 3 decades, Mirage Station had been careful, disciplined. The scientists never went more than a mile from the perimeter. They built their medicines and their technologies in their quiet, parallel life. And the world around them was peaceful in the way that only a world without human history can be peaceful. Completely. Profoundly. Disturbingly still. No predators anywhere. The land untouched and gentle and open. In the 1990s, the biologists arrived and began pushing further out. New animals, new plants, new medicines that healed things our medicines could not touch. Every expedition came back with more than the last. The world beyond Mirage Station seemed like a gift. It seemed like proof that somewhere out there, everything was fine. In 2019, the geologist arrived with the drilling equipment, and the protests began. Senior scientists writing formal letters to leadership, citing ecosystem disruption, urging caution, asking them to slow down. Leadership dismissed every concern. The potential value was too great. The hunger to know was too strong. Drilling began. For 2 years, the team worked underground. Then, 30 miles from the station, they broke through the floor of an old cavity into something below it. A cave system so vast the drones could not map it. Tunnels running for kilometers in every direction. Underground chambers large enough to swallow city blocks. And when the drone footage came back, nothing inside, no movement, no structures, no sign of anything living. So they sent people in. The survey team stopped reporting after a few days. A rescue team was dispatched. It did not return. 3 days after the expected return date, a single vehicle came back to Mirage Station at high speed with 1 person inside, wounded, barely conscious, eyes that had seen something they could not put back. "There is a nest," the survivor said, "underground. A nest. The rescue team. They were gone in under 3 minutes." He stopped, stared at nothing. "They followed me back." He died within the hour. 30 minutes after his death, 7 of the creatures arrived at the perimeter of Mirage Station. What happened in the next hour? The logs described without emotion, the way logs do. Times, locations, names, outcomes. Most of the station was gone in 60 minutes. The survivors who had made it to Central Control locked the doors and watched through the security cameras as the creatures moved through the streets below and picked off every remaining person outside, one by one, until the streets were empty and the cameras had nothing left to show but still silent destruction. 6 of the 7 creatures left, returned to the caves. 1 stayed, circling, patient, waiting. The survivors inside lasted months on the stored supplies. Then the supplies ran out, and they could not open the door without letting it in, so they stayed in the dark with their dead and waited for something that never came. I looked at Jasper. Is there anything in the logs about how to kill them? No, he said. Then how do we get out of here? He looked at me steadily, with those unhurried eyes that had seen too much to be hurried by anything. We let it in, he said, and we trap it here. The plan was clean. It was brutal. It was the only thing we had. Samantha would open the bay doors at the front of the building and the single-person door at the rear. The rest of us would go outside, make noise, draw the creature to the front entrance, and lead it inside. Jasper would operate the door mechanisms from the control room on the 2nd level, seal the bay doors behind the creature, trap it inside. He would also, while he was up there, destroy the dimensional displacement drive, manually, permanently, so that when Mirage Station shifted back to the other dimension, it would not be able to return. The creature would go with it, and it would stay there. The rest of us would run for the rear door and get out before it closed. That was the plan. Nobody spoke much while we prepared. There was not much to say. We stepped outside into the cold, dark street and we fired our weapons into the air. The roar came faster than I expected, much faster. We heard the claws first, that rhythmic tearing of bladed legs into road surface. The sound of it growing in the dark. Steady, unhurried, as certain. And then the pale sphere came around the end of the street and it came toward us and we ran, back through the bay doors, through the lobby of the mummified dead. The boots of the man behind me struck a body, and he stumbled, and I heard him catch himself and keep running, and I did not stop. Through the smell and the gray dust and the low emergency lighting, and the sound of the thing coming through the front of the building behind us, filling the enclosed space with that clicking that bounced off every concrete surface and came at us from every direction at once. The bay door behind it began to grind shut. Then the sound behind me changed. Not the clicking. A different sound. A human sound. A body hitting the floor. I looked back. Perkins, face down, and the white mass of quills already folding down over him like a hand closing around something small. I did not stop. God help me, I did not stop. Samantha was at the rear door waving us through, and we cleared it one by one, and she stepped back and let the steel door descend, and we turned and watched through the narrowing gap. A white leg shot through, one bladed limb raking across the underside of the descending door with a sound like a blade drawn across stone. The hydraulics screamed. The door ground down against it and stopped. The gap was 8 inches wide, maybe less, and in that gap, the leg moved. Probing, searching, patient. Door will not seal. Jasper's voice in our earpieces, and even now, even here, it was calm. Move right now. Jasper. I pressed the transmit button, come out through the window, come down to the street. Well, we will wait for you. No can do. A pause. Not long. One breath. I told a small lie. There is no bomb. There is no detonator. I am going to destroy that drive by hand, from up here. And when I do, this place goes back, and it does not come back. Ever. That was not the deal. My voice came out wrong, too tight, too high, someone else's voice. We leave together. That is the deal. No time to argue, my friends. A sound. brief, low, almost a laugh. "Get to the ramp. Get your people out. 20 minutes before the shift. Go." Jasper. A metal shutter slammed closed above us. The sound of it rang off the walls and died. The radio gave one burst of static, and then nothing. Marcus Jasper was gone. We ran. Back through the streets, we had spent 7 hours barely surviving. Back past the grooved roads, and the shattered houses, and the doors that had been taken apart by something that treated solid timber like paper. Past the receiving warehouses, down the entry ramp, across the snowfield to the convoy. I gave the order on the radio for every truck to pull back to the warehouse at maximum speed with no stops and no exceptions. Every truck. All of them. Maximum speed. No exceptions. We drove hard, and we did not look back for a long time. And when we finally did, the light came. That same enormous pulsing halo of white, rising from the platform at the bottom of the hill, spreading outward and upward, and consuming everything it touched. The ground moved beneath our trucks. The air pressure hit us like a wall. The fillings in my teeth rattled one final time. And then the light became so total and so absolute that it was not light anymore, but simply the absence of everything that was not light. And then it was gone. The field was empty. The snow fell in slow, undisturbed curtains across ground where a town had been standing 20 seconds before, where a man had been standing, where Marcus Jasper had been standing. Gone. No light, no platform, no trace. Just the dark and the snow and the sound of engines idling and the breathing of people who were still alive and did not fully understand why. That was Mirage Station, written by author Ryan Major. A story about what lives in the dark beneath the places we have never thought to look. About what answers when you drill down far enough. About what follows you home when you forget to check whether the door closed all the way behind you. Some caves have been quiet for a very long time. There is always a reason. If this story is still sitting somewhere behind your eyes right now, good. It should be. Drop a comment below and tell me where you are watching from. It does not matter where in the world you are. Whether you are watching from Lagos or London, from Accra or Atlanta, from somewhere where it is the middle of the night and you probably should not be watching this, say hello, drop your city, drop your country, tell me you made it to the end. I read every single one. If you have not yet subscribed to DreadRelic, do it right now. Hit subscribe, ring the bell. Every week we go somewhere darker than the week before, and I would hate for you to miss what is coming next. Tap the like button if this story found the part of you that still checks what is under the bed. This story is from the collection titled I Have Done This Before by author Ryan Major, available through Velox Books, on Amazon, and on Audible. Give it a read. He has earned it. Until next time, sleep well if you can. If you